Hello and welcome. It's Nikki here, and I've got a very exciting guest today, Meg Matthews. Welcome, Meg. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just going to run through a little intro on you for those of you who might not have heard of you, but I'm sure most of the listeners have. But you were Meg was an icon of the '90s Brit pop scene. Former music industry PR, events planner and designer turned entrepreneur and advocate for the menopause. So Meg is currently an online columnist for Red Magazine and was named by the publication as one of their top 20 career shifters in 2017. And in 2018, she was awarded Inspiring Public Figure of the Year award by the Inspirational Leadership Trust. And for the past few years, Meg has continued her mission on female empowerment and supporting women through the menopause, with her overall goal being to educate the general public more about the menopause, as it's a greatly underrepresented subject and is not talked enough about in the media. And I'll completely second that, Meg, because that's exactly what we're doing as well. And, you know, I'm so glad to see celebrities like you coming on board and making this your mission, because it just really needs to be done. So before we start, I'd love you to tell us your story of how you became this menopause champion.
Right. Well, what happened to me was about 47, I woke up feeling very overwhelmed with life, full of anxiety, wasn't sleeping at night, was having these night sweats, foggy brain, and I really didn't know what was going on. So I went to my local GP, who then just gave me antidepressants. So then I was on antidepressants for about 2 years, and I just seemed to be going madder and madder. And I was in an AA meeting as I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I was sharing that I was feeling completely mad, and you know, this wasn't really me, and I just couldn't get my head around why I felt this mad. And then this woman came up to me at the end of the meeting and said, "Look, I think you're going through the menopause." And I was like, "Nah, I don't think so. That's for old women. I'm not old. That's for, like, you know," I imagined a grey-haired old woman with a cane and, you know, hobbling along. So basically, I said, she said, "Look, take my number anyway, call me if you want to." But something just clicked, and I thought, oh, I am going to call her. So when I got home, I did call her, and she said to me, "You know, this happened to me. I kept going to my GP over and over again, and then I got referred to a menopause clinic." And then she said, "This is what I'm taking." She said, "It's an estradiol gel, a estrogen progesterone tablet, and some testosterone gel." And I went, "What do you mean a bit of gel?" And she said, "Yeah, you just rub a bit of gel on your leg." Up until this time, I basically thought I had agrophobia. I didn't actually leave my house for around about 3 months. So it was getting really bad. I've leaped forward a little bit then, because then it got worse and worse, and I didn't leave my house for 3 months. And then I went back to my GP and said, "Look, you need to refer me to a menopause clinic." And my GP, she was really all right. She was really nice. And she said, "Do you really, really want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, I really feel that I need to go." So she said, "Okay, I'll refer you if these symptoms are that bad." So she did refer me, and I went to a menopause clinic. And then and there, they did my bloods, and I ended up getting this estrogel, this and HRT. Within 4 days of rubbing the gel on my inner thigh, taking the progesterone tablet at night, my night sweat stopped within about 4 days of taking it. So it just shows you how quick it works.
Yeah. And how much time do you think you kind of lost waiting for that diagnosis?
About 3 years. About 3 years. My life was very small, very parallel. I was in like this tiny sort of prison. I felt like I had agrophobia. Like I said, I didn't really leave the house. I didn't do anything. My life got like more and more like smaller and smaller. I just sort of gave up, really. I just didn't really know what was going on. I thought my colourful Britpop years of the 90s that were very well documented had really caught up with me. So I thought that it was that. I thought basically that had really caught up with me. And so I was very embarrassed. I just kept thinking, shit, all that drink and drugs and everything that I did throughout the 90s had eventually caught up with me. And I put it down to that because I couldn't think of what else was going to lead me to not sleeping, having, night sweats, foggy brain, the worst anxiety and overwhelmed by life. to me, the menopause was just what I'd seen like on Sex and the City, where it was a hot flush and no periods. Also at the time I had the Marina coil, so I just wasn't really having periods anyway. So there was nothing that pointed towards the menopause. So that's why I decided, right, I am going to, when this had happened to me and I came around and I started taking the gel and started feeling better, I just thought, wow, I bet there's millions of women in the UK today not knowing that they go either perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. I'd not even heard of the word perimenopause until I started looking into it.
Your story is so similar to mine, Meg. You know, in my early 40s, exactly the same happened to me. I didn't have that crippling anxiety, but I just had exhaustion and crippling fatigue and brain fog and all of that stuff. And my doctor obviously prescribed me an antidepressant as well, probably because I was desperate by that stage. She thought, oh, just get her out of my surgery.
I was like that as well. Yeah, I was so desperate. I was like, oh my God, it doesn't matter. Look, I'm nearly 50. So what if I just become an antidepressant at the age of 50? At least I've done it nearly all my life without being on them. Right. But I just thought maybe, you know, that was just what I was dealt with. Maybe when they gave me the antidepressants, I know that they do give them because they do alleviate night sweats. But I was doing it for crippling anxiety. And then then I started to learn about that the estrogen was the lack of estrogen, which is the mother of all hormones. Oh my God. I mean, whatever you say, it's like, you know, it basically looks after practically everything in our body. So I didn't know that it was going to, you know, having crippling anxiety was a lack of estrogen. You know, I didn't know that. So at the time, so of course, you know, I was like, I'll just take anything just to feel normal again.
Yeah. Yeah. And were you surprised how little you knew about what was happening in your own body? Because that really freaked me out completely.
I had absolutely,
that's why
I thought I was quite a woman of the world. I thought I knew everything, not everything, but I thought I was quite knowledgeable. And considering that I had no idea, like I said, the word perimenopause had not come up into my vocabulary until I started looking into this. And then when I started to read about it, and also I'm dyslexic and I've got ADHD, so for me, you know, all there was like very thick books and going on to websites where, you know, I just thought, wow, this information needs to be out there for everybody. There's like, you know, there's just no info. So that's the reason I set up the Instagram and the blog. And I just thought, I'm just going to tell my story, how it is, the way it is. And I'm just going to freak as many women out there as I was completely freaked out by not knowing any of these statistics, not knowing that 1 in 3 women will suffer osteoporosis, 1 in 2 women will suffer from a stroke or a heart attack, 1 in 3 women will suffer from a collapsed pelvic floor because of the lack of estrogen. So I just thought, well, why are we women? Why is there no knowledge out there? I mean, you turn 50, you receive a letter from the government saying to go and have your mammogram, right? There's nothing on that letter that says, oh, are you going through the menopause? Maybe you should think about maybe going an HRT or looking at alternative things around it. There's no information out there. We then now know that we have 26 medical schools in this country that basically teach our GPs today. Numerous of them do not have the same curriculum, and only a few of them do 3 hours in a 7-year GP's year on the menopause, and it's not even up to date knowledge. So we really are, and every single woman in this country is going to go through it, and it's going to affect them, or it might not affect them, but probably about 90% will get affected in some way or another, because there is 34 symptoms, as we know.
Yeah, and you know, when people ask me, well, why do we suffer like this? Well, in the old days, our life expectancy was about 50, so we never had to. Mother Nature never equipped us with going through the menopause because we were dead. So
yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah, it's like 57 and we died at 59.
Now we're living to 80 something. We're now then suffering symptoms of these lower hormones, which we're not naturally equipped
to do, and we've got, like, you know, another 30 years of our life. So, and also now we know that HRT, as well as, like, I've come through the other side now, because I'm nearly going to be nearly 54, so basically I'm like 6 years in. So 6-7 years in. So also we do know that the HRT will basically support, it will, you know, it will support the collagen, which will then support the pelvic floor, it will support the heart, it will support the bones. So we know now that, I mean, I will take this till I'm 99 years of age.
Yeah, and you're also on the very safe form, aren't you? The body identical form.
Yes.
HRT. So we know also that there's a lot of confusion around that, with a lot of women still on the old synthetic hormones and told that they've got to come off it, which is actually true, because that is the one with the side effects and the risks.
Yeah.
So because there's so much confusion out there still, you know, how do women get the right information? I know there's a lot of people out there doing it, Dr. Newsom and lots of people trying to spread the word about this, but most GPs still don't know about the difference, do they?
Most GPs do not. So the best thing is to take as much information as you can to your GP. Write down your symptoms. Even write down, you know, estradiol, write down body identicals. If you have to go on the British Menopause Society, that explains there. Take screenshots of things, you know, so you've actually got it there. So we know that there's body identicals and there's bioidenticals. They are not the same two things, as we know. So bioidenticals will not be given by the NHS, but body identicals will. So body identicals is derived from the yam, the same way as the progesterone, the estrogen tablet is also a body identical, which is also derived from the yam. So those two you can get from the NHS. Also, we know that it only costs the NHS £4 for estradiol gel. So when, you know, first of all, when I kept saying everyone go to the NHS, I thought, oh my God, I hope I'm not crippling the NHS. But then Louise Newson told me that it costs £4. It only costs the £4 NHS. If we look at the amount of hip replacements, bone fractures, you know, all these different ailments that women go to because of these, you know, the 34 that they've got, you know, wanting to have like screens because they've got the horrific migraines. It's £4 for estrogen body identicals gel, and then you've got the progesterone. So we're not going, you know, we're probably going to save us women millions of pounds to the NHS if we get straight to the point. Also, there's the NICE guide that you can go on to, the NICE. Also, you can download that as well. I would go pretty prepared to your GP. I would read about it. I have got a piece on megsmenopause.com, which is how to navigate around the NHS. It's very easy, but go in and don't be afraid of your GP, because the GP, it's not his fault or her fault. They probably have not been taught it. And if you go in with the information and then just say, look it up in that big book, look up the estrogel. They can open that big book that they've got next to you and it will be in there. The estrogen progesterone tablet will be as well. Yeah. Also, I would, arriving at your reception of your surgery, I would ask if there is any one doctor or GP in particular that is a more menopause specialist. Then, you know, ask that just because it will help you anyway. And if there's not, then just read up and take as much information as you possibly can.
I think gone are the days when we could just leave our health and responsibility for that at the doctor's door. We have to take it on ourselves now, don't we? Because, you know, there are limited resources, and, you know, we've got to look after number one and make sure that we're getting the treatment that we need. So I completely agree with that. But that's really helpful, so thank you.
And also the other quick thing is that basically when I went in, I was so tearful because of, you know, the lack of hormones, that I did just keep bursting into tears. So you might just actually burst into tears when you go in there. So basically, and also I want to state that do it sooner than later. Don't wait. You don't have to wait till you're like 47, 48, 49. If you're feeling these things, you know, we know that 1 in 100 women between the ages of 40 and 45 will be perimenopausal. So you can go earlier. It's not going to do you any harm starting to take HRT earlier than it is later.
Yeah, and of course. So obviously with my nutrition background, I teach women how to look after their health generally through diet and lifestyle and supplements. I'm certainly not anti-HRT at all. So I'm, you know, I do that as I want women to be as informed as possible and to choose what works for them.
Yeah, choose whatever that does. Yeah.
In your journey, did you take on any sort of natural alternatives that helped you?
Yeah, I mean, I did everything. I tried absolutely everything. So I did bioidenticals, I did HRT synthetic, just tablets, and I did body identicals. And I also tried it homeopathically. So I did try everything over the 7 years, just because I wanted to do everything, just so I could write about it and know how I felt and keep diaries of it, and just look at the way that I was feeling. And out of everything, bioidenticals was just bloody expensive, really, really expensive. So I think for the average woman, it's a very expensive way of doing it. It's about £100 for each thing that you take, like your lozenges or your pump. So, it is very, very expensive. And I thought, well, I've got to be doing this for the next 30 years of my life. Am I going to be spending, £300 every 3 or 4 months? Well, that's a lot of money. And then body identicals is available on the NHS. My prescription cost me £9, and we know that it goes straight into the bloodstream because you're rubbing it on your inner thigh. It doesn't go through the liver, so there's no clotting. And the statistics of breast cancer and stuff are so low on there anyway that it's, for me, it seemed like the best thing to do. I tried doing it with just doing with foods, but I didn't feel so good, but that was me. And also I'm not, I'm a bit of a rubbish eater or planner, should I say. I'm a bit like, grab quickly what's about, because there's also only me now at home, and my daughter wasn't very good at eating vegetables at the best of times anyway. So it was always sort of like cooking for one, which can come like you don't really put that much effort into it. Yeah. So I did do it all, and then the bioidenticals worked perfectly. The cheapest, the most available, and worked the best for me.
Okay. What do you think generally needs to change to ensure women don't suffer like we do?
Well, it just the main thing that needs to be changed is knowledge and information for the GPs. The GPs it's all well and good me screaming and shouting, but at the end of the day, everybody is going to go to their GP. So they need to be told that the minute that they're feeling like this is to keep a diary, or if they're feeling out of sorts, it's not just because you're having a bad day or whatever. And also our GPs need to be educated 100%. They either need to be put on refresher courses, or their knowledge needs to be sent to them and they can read up on it, and they need to know what's going on. Without the GPs knowing, we're not really getting anywhere. Yeah.
But we also need to kind of, have that responsibility and almost instruct the GPs on what we need to, yeah?
Yeah, so as I'm saying, take the information in with you. Don't just expect, him to know. It's not their fault, they don't know, but you might, you can just teach them.
Yeah, I mean, like that, the menopause training, they only have, I think it's only about half a day on nutrition as well. So
yeah, they do. Yeah, that's right.
That diet and lifestyle can prevent a lot of these chronic diseases. So, everything needs to change. I think it is slowly changing. I'm really hoping. But in the meantime, it's people like us that need to spread that.
Yeah, really do. Yeah.
The empowered tools that they need. So what are you doing with Meg's Menopause? What are you doing to provide women some of the help they might need?
Well, like I said, so basically if you go on there, we will help you navigate. You can take the list of things off Meg's Menopause. There's a piece of the NICE guide on Meg's Menopause. I love the fact that if you go to Louise Newson's site, the Menopause Doctor, she has a letter that you can download if you're not happy with your GP, because it's the same way as when we sit in with the, if you go to a hairdresser's and you're getting your hair done, they're cutting it shorter and shorter. We just never say stop, do we? We sort of give all the power. And I think a lot of us give all the power to these GPs. So, if you do not like your GP, you can go back to the reception and say, look, I'm just not getting on with my GP. Can I swap? Ladies, don't be frightened about it. If you're not feeling that you're getting anywhere, and that, just say, is there someone else that I can see? You're not at their beck and call. You can ask to change. at any time, and do that because you want to feel that you're with someone that you can talk to. And if you just keep bursting into tears, make sure you've got that list. You know, we know that there's 34 symptoms, and if you're saying I'm not sleeping at night and I'm, you know, I'm feeling, you know, I'm very, very emotional and I'm just exhausted and I've got night sweats and I'm just can't seem to cope with life, this is probably going to be the start of the menopause. So write them down and just say, look, I think, and I, you know, follow a lot of people on Instagram. I read a lot of websites. I think I'm going through the menopause. Lay the foundations for that talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's
think,
changed? What's changed for you? You're full of energy, and you've created this amazing movement. So I'm presuming now you've got your energy back. Everything's working right. Have you still got any symptoms left, or are you on?
No, yeah, I have this thing tattooed here that says this too shall pass. I do have days where I do get anxiety still. I do get sleepless nights now and then, but I do know, like now, that my room is completely pitch black and I sleep with a mask on. Everybody made the world of difference. I also put my phone and my iPad outside of my room. I try to have no EMF or any signals in the room, and I have a thing called Shang-Night, which is 2 black crystals in pyramids each side of my bed, which I truly believe help. It's not expensive. Shang-Night comes from Russia, but it basically helps with all these rays and 5G and everything, which I'm really anti. So I think, you know, also we make melatonin, Ziggy, we make melatonin, Zigs. We make melatonin, you know, why we're in the pitch black. And I live in the middle of central London, so there's lamps shining in through even my blinds. So that one is a really, really good one. I used to always just fob it off, but now, do you want to come and say hello now? Okay.
Oh, look at him.
There's the Ziggy, the Zigs. So yeah, I really believe that. So that's really important to me and has really helped me. I think with the sleep is the pitch black.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that really helps to, you know, even if you're on HRT, it's only actually replacing your sex hormones. So obviously we've got other hormones at play that can play up.
Yeah.
Things like cortisol, things like thyroid. So the more you can do naturally, like, yeah, making your room dark, you know, eating well, getting those nutrients in, and, you know, stress management, massive. Because I've noticed the women that we treat are, their symptoms are much worse if they've got stress in their life. I mean, you know,
yeah. I mean,
but it does make that journey a lot harder for some women. So
yeah, I mean, stress. I mean, I've got to say, my cortisol and my adrenaline used to be pumping around my body like nobody's business, and I just had to really, you know, because we can really, you know, like you start to sort of panic or worry about things. I mean, I just sort of, you know, could make things really go out of control, and then it would just start to roll like a snowball. Do you know what I mean? A domino effect.
Yeah.
So I've learned just to keep things very simple in my day. Like I really do try to keep a program that is very simple, because I can also wake up today like on a Monday morning and then just think, oh, my mum, we used to call it worry. I think we say it's anxiety now, because my mum was my mum was such a worrier. I think that she also suffered, but we call it anxiety now, more to a thing. But I can get away. This is me. My brain can start worrying about everything, like worrying about bills, worrying about this. Before I know it, my head is just, what am I going to do? And I'm like, slow up, take some deep breaths. You know, our life is so mad that I got told the other day that we take as much data in per day as Shakespeare took in his whole lifetime.
What?
In our brain. Okay, so our brain is a fun, and because I have ADHD, I know, because I am fast. I mean, while I'm talking to you, I've already thought about what I'm going to wear this afternoon, what I'm going to eat. I have to be really careful, because my brain will just, it works so much faster than most people's. So I know that I have to slow up. So I know that I have to breathe and I have to do meditation. I have to do it. If not, I will just run away with myself. And then it's just, I can feel it very unhealthy for me.
Yeah. And lastly, Meg, I just wanted to mention your new products, because
oh yes,
what made you decide to bring out a range of products?
Well, I basically was looking around for products, and I had a house full of teenage kids, and I just thought, you know what, there's nothing out there that was pretty and for the menopause woman. And in my shower, I didn't want any of those veggie fresh and femme fresh. I have loads of teenage boys that who say, like, oh, can we just borrow your shower? They're not with me, of course, my daughter's friends, you know. But then I wanted something that was pretty, and then also I wanted next to my bed, I didn't want like Durex lube or KY jelly, which means like anal sex to me. I just wanted things that were very pretty and things, and so I made this that I wanted something for pH balance for the vagina, which was 3.5. As we know, all our soaps and our lovely expensive shower gels are going to dry our vaginas out, and they you know, vaginal atrophy is rife within the menopausal woman, as we know that the lack of estrogen starts to dry our eyes out, our mouth out, vaginas out. So then I wanted to make everything. So I made the Blossom Balm, I made the moisturizer. So if you're sitting down all day, or you're in jeans, or you're in tights at work, she's like, you moisturize your body and you can moisturize your vagina. Everything is vegan and natural. And also, it's also in sugarcane husk, so it's no plastic. And then the Meno blend I made because I spent a fortune on vitamins and superfoods. And I was adding it up one day, and I was just a bit like, how can I tell women, average women, to go and buy that? Because even me, I find it really expensive. And even when I'm running out of a certain thing, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go and replace that again. That's £45. You know, that's, you know, good vitamins, good quality vitamins are not cheap. So what I did was I went into a laboratory and I managed to put maca, chlorella, wheatgrass, MSM, Akaya. I managed to do superfoods and every vitamin that you need into one sachet, and I think it's £1 a day. So other than spending hundreds of pounds, you can take that each day, and that should support all your body, everything that you need.
Lovely.
And you being a nutritionist will be able to see that.
Oh, absolutely. I spend a fortune on supplements.
Yeah, they're so expensive. This is what I mean. And that's why everything I do on the NHS, everything I do, my products, they're all affordable. I did, the reason they're all that price is that, you know, if you're, you know, I just kept thinking of my mum doing a weekly shop, and she'd be giving the housekeeping by my dad. You know, you can't go out and put a £45 face cream in. You'll use up half of it. So mine are like £10, £12. You can slip a few of that in your weekly shop, and no one's going to know.
And we know what women are like. They'll spend money on everyone else except themselves, won't they?
Yeah.
So, you know, you
yeah.
keep it affordable. So
yeah, absolutely.
Any last tips, Meg? What would be your number one takeaway that women can take from this and just take with them?
Right. My number one tip is, please share with your family. If you are feeling out of sorts, share with your family. It will make you the world of difference to share. It will share because you'll be able to, sorry about Ziggy. You'll be able to, Ziggy. You'll be able to share. You know, it will alleviate things. Talk to your partner if you don't feel like having sex and you're not feeling it. Please just do it. Just because it will really, don't feel ashamed. They will understand, you know. If you don't feel like cooking tea, or, you know, just say so. I found the minute that I shared with my family, it was just like, oh my God, why hadn't I done this earlier? And then even at work, if you've got a few girlfriends at work, or share with your girlfriends, but please share with your family. I think it will make all the difference. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's going to happen to every single woman in the world, and in the UK, and every woman around you. And if they, you know, some women will have symptoms, some won't. Doesn't mean to say that you are less than just because you've got symptoms. I never had period pains. I gave birth in an hour and 15 minutes, and I used to walk around like the cat that got the cream. And then boy, oh boy, was I given the menopause of all menopause. So there you go, you know.
Yeah, you're so right. And every woman's journey will be a different one, but I think you're absolutely right. Share and ask. The sooner you ask for help, the sooner you're going to get the help, and you won't waste those precious years suffering like you did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used every excuse. I broke, you know, my husband, I used to even go and buy cystitis powder and put it on the side so that my partner would think I had cystitis when I didn't. I mean, it got to those sort of stages. I'd be, you know, thinking, oh my God. And I'd say, oh no, I've got cystitis, you know. So, you know, you do that. And then once you start talking, then it's fine. But the minute I thought, oh my God, if I start cuddling my partner, then he's going to think oh my God, let's have sex. So I think, oh no, I've got cystitis. But you still want to be intimate and have a cuddle. So, you know, it means a lot.
And you're missing out on that.
Then you get missing out because you're on the other side of the bed, so you're not being even intimate and having a nice cuddle. But the minute you cuddle, you know, my partner was thinking, great, that means sex to him. So, and then I was like, no, but I don't want to have sex. I just want to have a cuddle. And then it would turn into an argument. So yeah, once you can talk.
You get too hot as well, don't you? As soon as you start cuddling, you're like,
yeah, please get off, get that arm off me, stop breathing on me, get over to the other side of the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So Meg, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. It's megsmenopause.com, isn't it, that people can go
to? It's megsmenopause, .com, and then Instagram, it's just at megsmenopause.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Enjoy your Pilates.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.